Hi everyone, my name is Tommy and it's so good to have you back on my channel. Today we'll be talking about a very important topic in personal finance, and that is the emergency fund. So the first question is, why do we need an emergency fund? Why do you think you should put money aside for emergencies? The reason is this: life is really unpredictable. Things happen, things that we did not plan for. So sometimes things happen that are not the usual. They're not the things that we spend money on a monthly basis or on a daily basis. So for instance, there could be a job loss. If there's a job loss between the time where you lose your job and you're able to secure another job, there's no income. So the monthly income that you normally expect is not coming in as usual. There could be a reduced source of income. So your income drastically reduced, and it wasn't something you expected, so you couldn't plan for it. But having an emergency fund is you planning for a rainy day. So let's say that let's say a pipe just got broken or something, and you have to fix this pipe. This is an expense that you did not imagine that it was going to happen this month, and it just happened. You're going to have to pay a plumber to fix that for you. So now we're going to talk about how to actually build up this emergency fund. So normally when you're trying to build up an emergency fund, you actually want to save up. So you want to actually have an idea of what your monthly expense is. You want to have a rough estimate of how much you would actually need to survive on a monthly basis. So you want to put into consideration your rent, your groceries, the money for food, and the essentials, money for food, transportation, if you have children, for childcare, for school fees. All of this you want to actually put them into consideration. So if you're paying your rent annually, you might want to divide that by 12, so you have an idea of how much your rent is monthly. If you're paying monthly, you just put that in your monthly rent. And if you're paying school fees per term, each term is like 3 months, so you might want to divide that by 3 to have an idea of what your expense is monthly. So once you're able to determine what your expense is and you know what your income is, so you subtract your expense from your income. That way you'll be able to know what your surplus is, so you know what extras that you are having on a monthly basis. So the idea is for you to have an emergency fund that covers all of your expenses for a minimum of 3 months. But you can actually increase this to 6 months. So that means if your expense on a monthly basis is like $1,000, so you want to actually be able to save up $3,000 in an account, or you can increase that to 6 months. So that means you want to save up about $6,000 in an account as an emergency fund. So this account excuse me, this account, you're not putting it into investment, you're not putting it into fixed deposit. It's just sitting in a savings account where you can easily access this money. So even if you are going to put it into any form of investment, something short term, something that you can easily get out when you need it. So that is the concept of the emergency fund. So it's something that you can call out immediately. There is an unpredictable situation. Once it happens, you can get this money and then you're not stranded. So that is what emergency funds are for. So like we explained, that once you deduct your expenses from your income, whatever surplus that you have, you put that first month into your emergency fund. So let's say that your income is 1,500, your monthly expense is 1,000. So if you deduct this, that means you have a surplus of $500. And the target is for us to save emergency fund for 4 months. So we are looking to save $4,000. So on month 1, we take that 500 and we put it in the emergency fund. Month 2, we take another 500, we put it in the emergency fund. So that means for us to build up $4,000 in emergency funds, we have to save for a total of 8 months. So after 8 months, when you'll be able to build up your emergency fund, and I need to just chip this in, that you need to be disciplined enough not to go diving into your emergency fund for unnecessary expenses. So you want to be sure that you have this $4,000 after 8 months in that savings account for emergencies. So after we've done that, the 9th month, that's the month after you saved up on your emergency fund, the next 500 that you have, you can then decide to start to put this into investments. So you can decide that, oh, this month I want to be saving on a monthly basis towards my children's post-secondary education. So you can decide, I'm going to put $100 in an investment vehicle for that particular purpose, just for my children's education. And then you can decide, oh, there's $100, I'm going to put that in the stock market. And then the next $100, you can decide that I want to put that in a fixed deposit. So you understand that depending on your risk appetite, you want to know that's how you want to divide that money, that surplus that you're getting on a monthly basis. So if your risk appetite is high, you might want to put more money in the stock market, which if the stock market is doing good, you earn more. The higher the risk, the higher the rate of return. The lower the risk, the lower the rate of return. So you might want to just check with yourself what your risk appetite is. At what stage of your life are you? Are you still young that you can make some investment decisions that if it goes sideways, you have enough time to actually wait it out until that investment improves? So that's a personal decision. That's something you need to actually understand about yourself, your risk appetite. So this is just for you to understand, have an idea of what to do with whatever surplus you're getting on a monthly basis. So aside putting money aside for your children's tuition, putting money in the stock market, putting money in fixed deposits, you can actually save towards your retirement. So you can contribute to your retirement plans so that when you retire, you have something to fall back on. So there are several investment vehicles, other ones that you could consider, and that's dependent on you. We'll be talking more about investments later, but today we are just focusing on emergency funds. It's quite important that you put this emergency funds aside, because we really, like I said, cannot predict what happens tomorrow, and you do not want to be in a situation where you're stranded or that you have to now start borrowing to meet up with your needs. And also, I need to address this. If you know that on a monthly basis there isn't so much of a surplus that you're getting, so it either means that you're not earning enough or that you're spending too much. Your expense is more than what you earn. So you can look out for ways to cut back on your expenses. And one of these things is you have to look at yourself, look at the stage where you're in, look at what your income is, and be very honest with yourself. And when I say be very honest with yourself, is this: if you know that at this stage you cannot afford to live a certain standard of living, to live within a certain living standard, you might want to just reduce that a little until you're able to earn more. So you can either target to increase your income. Look for other ways you can get more money. See if you can actually get another job that will pay you more, or have a side business, or have some other things that brings in income for you. Or you look for a way to cut back on your expenses. And so that's where we'll be stopping today. Subsequently, we're going to talk more about breaking down our expenses, looking for ways to see that we can cut back on unnecessary spendings. But today, please remember to save towards your emergency fund. It is very important that you have that sorted out, you have that settled before you even start to consider putting your money in several investment options that you have. So thank you so much for joining my channel.